It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
And welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast, available, of course, every morning on iHeartRadio, Spotify and Apple, as well as Amazon these days. And we are into another weekend, feeling pretty good. It is a Saturday and February the 10th day for the month for 2024. Another weekend of real estate, of course, around Australia. Plenty of activity and auctions today. And if you are in that space of either going to an auction, going to an open home, or if you are transacting, doing all the paperwork, how exciting. Good luck with all of that across this weekend. And in fact, we are headed off to Melbourne this morning. And joining us is Jayson Watts, the principal of Nelson Alexander Flemington. And good morning, Jayson. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's great to be a part of the show.
Now, Flemington, tell us a little bit about this spot. It is located, of course, 5 k's northwest of Melbourne CBD. There's all sorts of things going on there at the moment. It offers all sorts of different lifestyle for different people. You've got plenty of open parklands. Tell us about that area.
Yeah, mate, we're fortunate to be right on the doorstep of the CBD. Flemington itself Flemington's split into 2 parts. Flemington and Kensington has the same postcode, 3031, so there's a lot of activity between both of those suburbs. The lifestyle amenities are absolutely first class. We've got the Flemington Racecourse, which is obviously incredibly popular. Maribyrnong River, a lot of parklands. There's 4 different train stations on 3 different train lines. City transport, obviously with trams as well. Easy access to all freeway links. And there's 2 really popular villages. So it's got a close to the community, picturesque sort of period home suburb that's close to the Melbourne CBD. So it's a great place to be.
Oh, you've sold me. You've sold me, Jayson.
Well, I've got 3 auctions in the area. If you want to come along today, it's going to be pretty exciting. So hopefully we get 3 from 3.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about, in fact, because it is the first auction of 2024, and you've got 3 of them happening today. So you'll be pretty pumped up for this, won't you, on your Saturday morning?
I am, mate. I've gone for a run, got a clear head, didn't have a beer last night, so I'm locked and loaded, ready to go. So it's going to be an exciting day. So it's going to be good. I did have 5 auctions. 2 of them sold competitively before auction, and they're only on the market for 7 days. But the 3 that I've got going to market today, we've got strong buyer interest in all 3 of them. So hopefully we get a strong outcome for each one of our vendors and start the year off really positively.
Yeah, well, that's all you can ask, is hopefully to start the year off with a bang. All right, it is our Saturday morning real estate. We will come back to Jayson there in Flemington in Melbourne in just a moment and talk all things property.
We are more than just a real estate podcast. We cover a multitude of subjects, including property data, current buyer-seller sentiment, and the mood of the market. Follow each week all of the main talking points and know your property.
Well, we've had a pretty interesting week, haven't we? On Tuesday, the RBA decided to pause the cash rate. Then Michelle Bullock fronted the media and took some questions. And one of those questions was when people could expect the rate to be cut, or was there the possibility of some rate hikes in 2024? And this was her answer.
We haven't ruled anything out and we haven't ruled anything in. I would say we have maintained the option that it might be that there has to be more rate rise, but there might not be either. Nothing's in, nothing's out. The optionality here really needs to be maintained because we need to be driven by the data. And I'd come back to the point that I made earlier. I really understand that the mortgage holders are sweating on this. I do understand that. But the big issue that's confronting not just mortgage holders, but everyone, is inflation. And the fact that inflation is so high in so many parts of their lives at the moment is really what's hurting them. So what's really important here is that we address that issue for people. That will help mortgage holders. I know that they're doing it tough, but it will also help renters, for example, who don't have mortgages and also are experiencing these inflationary pulses. So in the end, I think that that's why we need to stay the course.
And that was Michelle Bullock, the RBA Governor, at a press conference a few days ago. Right now, let's go to Renee Cross in Elizabeth Bay with some more advice about when buying and selling your property. And good morning, Renee.
Yeah, good morning, Craig. How are you? Just thought I'd let you know that, I meet with vendors, every week, and, vendors deliberate in terms of when they're taking their property to the market and what they should do. I always find the vendors that get the best result on a campaign are those that seize the moment. They go with the campaign. They go with the suggestions. They trust the process. The process always delivers, Craig. I see it time and time again. The process delivers.
Don't navigate the real estate market alone. Let us help guide you in the world of real estate every day. Make better informed decisions with the latest news and insights.
And I hope you've got something planned across this weekend, a busy weekend with real estate, of course, and we are back with Jayson Watts, the principal of Nelson Alexander Flemington, who was telling me that he has got an auction on today, had 5, sold 2, down to 3, and one gets the impression there, Jayson, that maybe it could be quite a bidding war that takes place today.
It's likely, yes. Just to give a bit of context, late last year, we were averaging 20 buyers through 5 to 6 week marketing campaigns. Over Christmas, obviously, there was some positive news about inflation numbers being under control and obviously coming back. So the sentiment in the marketplace seems to be that we've hit the bottom of the market and there might be some, obviously, rate cuts taking place over the next 6 to 12 months, potentially and hopefully for the marketplace. And obviously, immigration's reopened and that's putting a lot of pressure on the rental market. So we are seeing a bit more investor activity coming back into the rental market. So with the average of like those buyers coming through 5-6 week campaigns last year, for a typical campaign, we're getting 20 groups through. The first 2 weeks of 2024, we're averaging 25 groups through each one of the open for inspections through a variety of price points from 500,000 to over 3 million. So we are generally dealing with a lot more buyers at the moment. And one of the properties I've got going to auction today at 12:30, I've got 7 registered bidders. So hopefully it's a favourable outcome for our vendor, because we certainly weren't getting that level of activity and volume of buyers committing to be participating in auctions towards the back half of last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, and in terms of migration, I mean, it's always been such a hot spot, Melbourne, for that migration. And the tap is turned on, they are coming in. So it stands to reason that the market should get a little bit more busier in 2024 as things, particularly with rates, start to settle down.
Exactly. So we've definitely, one would think we've seen the peak of the market, a peak of the interest rate market. That shock and awe approach of rate rise has sort of cooled somewhat. So the buyers are sort of getting in the head around, well, if I can afford the interest rate environment now, and if they recalculate serviceability, it might be easier for people to be accessing funds over the next 12 months. What we need to have is a bit more investors coming back into the market, because the volume of people wanting to rent, particularly in our marketplace, is astronomical. It's absolutely crazy, the volume of people coming through rental properties for not just 1-2 bedroom apartments, but 4 or 5 bedroom homes. Like, we're renting places over $1,500 to $2,000 a week at the moment.
Yeah, and you were saying that the investor activity, it should be based on what you're seeing there in that market. It should be a lot more stronger with investors coming in.
Correct, exactly. With the volume of people, immigration's reopened and they haven't been building enough properties, particularly over COVID, and the cost of construction soared. If I'm personally looking to buy an investment property because of that, because of the volume of people that need to rent. And obviously inner city is always a popular place to be, particularly if you've got city transport. As I mentioned, you've got 4 train stations on 3 different train lines in 3031, which is Flemington and Kensington. Plus you've got the trams and easy access to all freeway links. So if you're looking for an investment opportunity and you're not based in Melbourne particularly, I'd certainly encourage you to put Flemington and Kensington on your radar.
What about the capital growth where you are in your areas, your suburbs? What has that been like over the last 10 years?
Fairly strong. So we are dealing with a lot of buyers getting priced out of the Fitzroy-Carlton market. So put it in context, a 2-bedroom single front in Flemington, Kensington would be worth $1 million. 10 years ago, they were selling for around $500,000. So obviously you're virtually doubling every 10 years, which is the rule of thumb, so to speak. But there's obviously peaks and troughs in the marketplace where some years get better activity than others. What we're seeing is a lot of buyers getting priced out of that Fitzroy-Carlton market, because typically that marketplace, which is only 1.5, 2 Ks from Flemington and Kensington, they're paying around 30 to 40% more for the same product only a couple of Ks away. So we are getting a lot of spin-off and support from those suburbs over to Flemington and Kensington. So that's always going to consistently increase the values for the area. So the level of capital growth is always consistent. And John McGrath had a really good article, I think it was in either September, October last year, where he said Flemington is the place to watch in 2024 for capital growth.
Okay, well, we'll be watching it for sure. And Domain's house price report, of course, a few days back, revealing that Sydney's steep figures, where $1.5 million barely secures a 2-bedroom apartment in the heart of the city. You're talking about Flemington being so close to the CBD, but not quite the same sort of price being paid.
Not at all. So $1 million will get you a really good 2-bedroom single front. Obviously, there's other types of properties. Well, the 2-bedroom single front's a traditional period home, which is a quintessential type of home that the inner city buyer does like to buy in the Flemington or Kensington. We do have another housing estate, which is the old sale cattle station, cattle yards behind the Flemington racecourse, which is Kensington Banks. It was converted about 20 odd years ago. So you can get some really good value down there with 2-bedroom townhouses going for around $850, maybe even a little bit less in some instances because they're a little bit smaller. So there's a lot of variety and some very good value properties in the area, that's for sure.
Jayson, great to catch up with you on the Saturday morning property market update, and good luck with your auctions, those 3 properties today, and no doubt we will speak again at another date in 2024.
No problems at all. Thank you so much for having me, and good luck everyone if you're planning on bidding today. Have a great day.
Don't forget to subscribe. We have hundreds of episodes, all designed to help you better understand the constantly evolving and dynamically changing real estate property market.
Maybe the caretaking agreement, how does all that sort of unfold, and how does that inform us in terms of management rights?
Yeah, so there's 2 main income streams that are combined together to give you the net profit for a management rights when you're looking at one. 25 years, the remuneration will be outlined on that as well, how much the body corporate will pay you. That is pretty standard and consistent income. You can count on that. It's an agreement. As long as you do the things in the agreement you have to do, that's the income that you get paid.
We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.